Hey guys, and welcome to Crusher Convo. We're crushing the conversation one episode at a time. I am here to talk about Strange New Worlds, Season 3, Episode 4, A Space Adventure Hour. Now, of course, remember, if you have not seen this episode yet, please turn back now because there will be spoilers.
Spoilers.
They jump right into it, and I was kind of confused because all of a sudden it was like an homage to TOS. Captain Proton feels a little bit. And of course, Paul Wesley was betraying his character very Shatner. Okay, he was doing those pauses. He did the stare. There was a moment where he did a look where I was like, "Oh my gosh, that was Shatner's Kirk back in the '60s." I think they did a really good job. It was funny. It was fun. It looked like. But I was just a little confused because I was like, are they already in the holodeck? Because I knew it was a holodeck episode, but was it something else? So yeah, as we saw, it was just kind of a moment, kind of a promo to kind of get us to understand the murder mystery that was later on.
Amelia was an outsider, but she always found herself in the middle of a murder or a kidnapping or a heist gone wrong. And she always got justice, no matter what.
Now, with La'an testing out this new holodeck program, she decided to do a murder mystery, which was apparently from her favorite book of Amelia Moon that she used to read when she was younger. And that automatically gave me Elementary Dear Data, Sherlock Holmes, and also Dixon Hill with Picard. There's something about these characters that just love to do a mystery, okay? And I thought that was kind of interesting because technically they're kind of solving mysteries. They're kind of figuring out stuff as they go to new planets and strange new worlds, and, things are happening and they're, getting caught in some nebula or, binary star and cosmic strings and all of that stuff. I feel like that is kind of a mystery, but I guess because it's work and it also, they could die. This is kind of their way of solving different mysteries than what they do day to day. And then also, be in a different time period, because Sherlock Holmes was in the 19th century, I believe. Dixon Hill was 1940s. This one with Amelia looked like 1960s because they were trying to play off with TOS. Yeah, I just found that there's a trend when it comes to our senior officers. And of course, Beverly also loved a mystery, right? And that's why she was very excited to join Picard in The Big Goodbye. And of course, it didn't go the way she planned. But it was just fun to see La'an kind of do something different than we're used to. And of course, we saw this moment between her and Spock. And at first, it's like, oh, there looks like to be a little bit of a romance happening. And sure enough, by the end of the episode, that's exactly what they're going for. And kudos to It's Got Star Trek because they questioned that from last week. I didn't even think about it. And when it wasn't even last week, it was the one before that because of the dancing. And they continued this dancing. Don't know why Spock wants to learn how to dance. But yeah, so we'll see how that goes. And then it's like, okay, maybe this is why Spock decides to become way too Vulcan later on, because maybe something happens with La'an and then the whole thing with Chapel. And he's like, I'm done.
There was a more pressing matter.
Blood? What? I thought the holodeck had safety protocols.
Perhaps they are malfunctioning.
We should get out of here, not risk anything else. Computer, end program.
Safety protocols. Seal. I mean, I could understand because this is a very new program and they're trying to figure it out. And then she's like, oh my gosh, we can get hurt. I have to end I have to solve the mystery to end the program. Very Elementary Dear Data. And I'm probably Lower Decks too. But even 100 years later, when we see this on TNG, safety protocols, like that is a huge thing that still is a problem. And I don't understand why. Even in, again, Lower Decks and a whole bunch of other Voyager, for goodness sakes. I mean, look what happened with Bride of Chaotica. Please, we got to figure something out. I mean, even Picard was able to turn off the safety protocols when he was talking with Ro in, was it Imposters of season 3 of Picard? And I was like, why can you do that? Why? What is the point of even having safety protocols if you could shut it off? So again, I am going off my horse here of what is up with safety protocols and the holodeck. And apparently, even in 100+ years, it's still a problem. There's my rant. Sorry.
You don't think some kid out there is going to see this show and spend the rest of their life searching the stars? You don't think a person can love a piece of art or music or a story so much that it heals them, shows them parts of themselves they've never even seen before, and give them hope?
So as they're going through this mystery and trying to figure it out, there was a moment that I really wanted to highlight, and that was when Celia, I can't remember what her character's name was, but she was talking about why The Last Frontier was such an important show, giving little kids hope that it could be them one day. I loved it. And I feel this is a nod to Nichelle Nichols. When Nichelle was doing the show, she had thought, this is great. A Black woman on the bridge. She is one of the senior officers. This is huge, right? But as it being the 60s, there was a lot of misogyny going on and there was a lot of issues. And at some point she's like, I'm done. I'm over it. And it was Martin Luther King Jr. who was like, no, you can't. Please stay. Like, I mean, he wasn't telling her what to do, but he kind of was like, you got to understand how important it is for all the little Black kids who are watching you right now. They're going to see themselves in the future that we are together. We are a people. And it was a moment that Nichelle was like, you're right. I got to keep going for our future. Okay. And that future, one of them turned out to be Whoopi Goldberg. That was one of the biggest reasons why she loved Star Trek and why she felt she could do anything. She's like, Uhura wasn't a maid. She wasn't the help. She was a senior officer. She was doing things, important things. And that was inspiring for her. And so I loved that Celia got to do this speech because it was like a full circle moment of what Nichelle went through and that moment she had with Martin Luther King Jr. and that moment with Whoopi and then Whoopi being on TNG and all of this stuff. And then Celia got to say this speech. So I think that was a wonderful nod. If that's what they were going for, that's how I felt. And it was just such a beautiful way, especially because yesterday was the anniversary of Nichelle Nichols' death. So yeah, that was probably my favorite part of the entire episode.
Jesus Christ, I was trying to get my leg over. Can someone fix the chair, please? I can't work open the door.
I did love the quick little bloopers at the end. I wasn't sure if they were actual behind the scenes of doing the episode or they were fake behind the scenes, which they were fake. But I did hear some Jonathan Frakes, and I laughed so hard when Paul Wesley tried to do the Riker maneuver over the chair. And then seeing they had issues with the doors and stuff. It was just a funny thing because we know that's what they went through in the 60s, trying to even in TNG, right? Even on DS9, like they had those issues because it was all practical effects. But when he tried to do the Riker maneuver, I lost it. I absolutely lost it. I hope this was a ad lib, let's do this, and it was from Jonathan, and I just loved that little bit. So thank you for that because I absolutely enjoyed it. Those are my thoughts of the episode 4 of season 3 of Strange New Worlds, a space adventure hour. So I guess La'an solved this in an hour. But yeah, what are your thoughts? Comment below. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't yet. And also hit me up on the socials. But I hope you enjoyed this. And again, live long and prosper. Have a good night, guys. Bye. Don't forget you can listen to all the audio versions of Crusher Convo on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Good Pods, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. You can support the podcast by buying merch on TeePublic, buy me a coffee by scanning that QR code, or becoming a Patreon member for as low as $3 a month. But the best way to support Crusher Convo is to like and subscribe here on YouTube. You can also find me on Blue Sky, Instagram, Threads, or TikTok, so please follow me there. And of course, all this information can be found on crusherconvo.com.
Crusher out.